Welcome to Creative Real Estate Investing. If you have a property that requires major renovations, today's episode is for you. This is about how to maximize profits on an old free and clear home using creative strategies. Hey everybody, I'm getting ready to do a walkthrough on a property in Spring. It's actually a commercial property. If you turn around, you can take a look and see that this is
1960.
1960 and Butte Creek, right?
Butte Creek, yeah.
Yes, Butte Creek. So Denny's is right across the street. You've got an office building over here. And then this is like an auto mechanic place over here.
Tire
place? Okay. This is a tire place over here. And so this property kind of stretches all the way back. So if you look at the parking lot, there's only 3 spaces here, but a very long driveway that takes you practically nowhere. So we need to fix the situation on the parking on this property. And I'm here today to speak with Cameron Hunter, and he's doing a nonprofit, and he'll be telling you more about it in a moment. My name is Francis, and we'll get started now.
Well, my name is Cameron Hunter. I'm the founder, president, CEO of Restoration House of Houston. It's a nonprofit designed to help homeless families. When a couple with children are homeless, they basically have nowhere to go that they can stay together. They'll take the woman and children, but they won't take the man. We are building a transitional housing program that will keep the family together. In 2024, someone donated this house that we're in right now to us. So it's free and clear.
Wow.
And we're just looking at our options on how this house can help fund us to get started serving families. So I'm so glad to meet you and want to hear all the options available.
Well, one of the options, Cameron, that you can do is, it's a 3,300 square foot house on 10,000 square feet, but the parking is not a good situation for this size property. And it's in such a great location that it's right close to a major intersection. And the traffic, you can pretty much hear it from here. So that means there's a lot of traffic going by. The thing about it is that if you sell it to an investor in the condition that it's in, it needs well over $100,000 to turn it into a really nice place where you can sell it for $500,000. But any investor looking at this house would probably offer you no more than $300,000. So if you were to take a cash offer, we can put it on contract today. And if you have a real estate agent, we'll even pay his commissions. But you cannot sell it past that $300,000 because otherwise an investor rehabbing the property will not be able to sell it for a profit. And the profit is so little, even with the numbers that I shared with you. Okay, so imagine a $300,000 property, you have to put $100,000 into it, and then you only make about $50,000 at the end of the rainbow? No, you need to make at least $75,000, $100,000 after the fact. So where it's priced at $425,000 or at $450,000, there is no room for anyone to come in and convert this, whether it's into a daycare, corporate housing, an Airbnb. You can't do any of that with the price that it's priced at. So we're in trouble. You are going to be stuck with this property being listed on the market longer than it already has. How long has it been in the market since you got it?
Since October of 2024.
Yes, and we haven't even counted from the time you took it over in July. So,
Correct.
So we're in June now. So that's an entire year without it being touched. You have to keep the light on. Look at your holding costs, okay? You gotta make sure the lawn is trimmed.
Yes.
You have to make sure that things are up to speed. And you had a lot of issues with the homeless people coming in, breaking windows, and now you're having to put bars on the windows,
Right.
okay? So in order to make this appealing, we gotta take out those ugly bars and put out a really nice fence. And we're talking about a nice gated fence. So when people look at it, they're like, wow, there's cameras on the fence, and they just simply stay away, right? We gotta do that. Then we gotta be able to convert it. Conversion time doesn't take too much time. We're talking about 2 to 3 months max, but if we have to do something on the outside, then permitting is involved. And that's gonna take another 3 to 6 months. So my question to you was, how soon do you want to get this done? If you wanna make $300,000 today, it can be done within 30 days. If you want to convert it and turn it into something nice, then you're looking at closer to 6 months to a year.
And how does that affect my profit?
Well, first, it's a free house,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm
But
talking
you're,
about the ability to really run our program.
yeah. You can make profit 2 ways. One, we call it novations, okay? Novations is when the seller puts up the property and the rehabber puts up the cost of repairs, okay? Once you do the deal, let's say this property is $300,000 and the rehab investor puts in the $100,000 to repair it. Now we're in it for $400,000, okay? If you are able to put that in and sell it for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 on the back end, you can split the profit there. Does that make sense? So let's say it sells for $800,000 when you're done. Okay? Because if you're gonna put $100,000 into a property, it better rate you some really good returns.
Sure.
Okay? So we're not talking $500,000. Okay? Let's say worst case scenario, $600,000. Worst case scenario, $600,000. You put in $300,000 home. The rehabber put in $100,000 rehab. You sell it for $600,000. Now you're going to split the profits on the back end. You get your $300,000. He gets his $100,000. You have $200,000 cash flow profit. You split that 50-50. You get $100,000. He gets $100,000. Now you actually take home not $300,000, you take home $400,000. Remember, it's only worth $300,000 right now. So if you want your $400,000, this is what you gotta do, okay? And now another exit strategy is if you turn it into a business. Let's say Plan A is turning it into a daycare for children. Plan B is turning it into an Airbnb with 3 different facets. Another one is corporate housing. This is where the nurses, the doctors that come from out of town come here to work, and they are in these corporate housing for 4 to 6 months, okay? It's not long term, but do you know the difference that they pay? Let's say this is a 3,300 square foot house and we're able to rent it out for $1 per square foot, so you're getting $3,300 rent. In corporate housing, you're getting double that because it's fully furnished. So at the end of the rainbow, even though the property is worth $600,000, now you're gonna spend another $50,000 to furnish it nicely, okay? And then instead of $300 rent or $600 rent, you're turning it into a $10,000 a month cash flow. If you turn this into a $10,000 a month cash flow, now the property is worth $1 million, not $600,000.
We actually have somebody on our board that has 2 Airbnbs.
Yeah. And that person can give you input on how much furniture costs.
Yeah, they already have.
So that's why when you say, make me an offer in 24 hours, yes, I can make you a $300,000 offer in 24 hours. But to do a business plan for an Airbnb, for a children's daycare, or for corporate housing, that takes time. That takes at least a week or 2 to put together. We cannot rush the business plan side of things, because if the numbers don't work, you better quit it before you even break ground on working on the project.
Sure.
Okay? When you convert this 3,300 square foot space into a childcare, it looks totally different than if you convert it into an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't say, let me just go in with the $100,000 beautify it, because you're doing it wrong for the daycare. And the daycare
Sure.
might come first. So that's why I said we need to put together a business plan and then we have to sell it. So for instance, let's say we decided we're gonna do a daycare, okay? Now we're gonna go talk to all the daycare centers in the area. Who is the one where their lease is gonna come up next? within the next 6 months to a year. We approach that business owner and we're gonna say, this is the business plan, and it kind of looks like your daycare right now, except it's a little bit bigger, and these are the amenities that you can look at, and then you can get interest from that. So not just from one business owner, you can get 3 or 5 business owners to take a look at the same business plan. Now it's beautified to where you can get $10,000 a month rent. So if you turn it into an Airbnb, there's actually a company that does all the work for you. They'll clean after every resident, all of that. All you're doing is collecting mailbox money. And that's what your nonprofit means. You cannot kill the golden goose. If you just sell it for 300 grand, you're done. That's all the money that you get to play with.
Yeah. There have been many times I wish it was already sold, but I know that, being of faith, that in the right timing, we'll get the right situation.
Yeah.
And I don't think getting 300 grand
It's not-
killing
it- yeah.
is the way to go.
It's not the way to
But
go.
like I said, I can present this to the board. It's all about what's going to be best for the organization. Not for me, it's what's best for the organization.
And just what you just said, it's gonna be what's best for my investor and not what's best for me. Right? And what we're about to build is what's best for the daycare center. It's not about us. Because we're not building it to move in, we're building it so they can thrive.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to make sure that everything that we do is a win-win-win situation. That's why I said we can come up with 3 business plans. They're all gonna be in your favor.
We had a couple of interests from some dentists. 2
Yeah.
different dentists were interested. But, like you're saying, probably the numbers scared them off.
Because they have to put in that extra money to fix it up. You see, if this property was already fixed up and you make it worthwhile for the rehabber to come in and do novations, you can sell it to that business, to that dentist for $600,000 because now they can go finance it. See, banks will not loan you money on a property that needs this much rehabbing. This is why we need cash investors to come in and do all that building. It's a lot of work. If you want the bigger money, right? For you to get an extra $100,000 on this $300,000 property, it's gonna take at least 6 months.
How do you determine which business you want to get it ready for?
Research. Okay, so for instance, I'm in the assisted living business. When somebody says, oh, I have the perfect piece of land for you, what do? I look up all the assisted living facilities around there, okay? Then I have to go and do research on each one. If each one of the 5 facilities that I found surrounding this one location has 3 empty beds each, now is not the time to convert this property. Now is not the time to buy. Now this particular location is not good. But if I do my research and it looks like only one has 3 vacancy, but the other ones have a waiting list, now is the time to buy. Now is the time to build in that location. So when you're talking about children's daycare, how different is that? You contact all the daycare, you find out which one is bursting at the seams and having a waiting list. That's the business you want to work with anyways,
Yeah,
right? So I hope that answers your question.
it does.
Lots of
Good
work,
information.
lots of work.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cameron, today I would really love to do more for you on this property, but in the state that it's in, it does need a lot of work, and I don't want to turn you away, meaning you're not giving it to me for $300,000. I want to get creative with it so that you can turn it into a cash cow.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so everyone, thank you for joining us, and this is Cameron Hunter, and your organization is called
Restoration House of Houston.
Restoration House of Houston. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Cameron and Denise Hunter are founders of Restoration House of Houston. If you'd like to learn more about their organization, please visit their website at rhohhouston.org or visit their social media at Bringing Restoration 888. For more information on how to maximize your profits on an old free and clear home using creative strategies, reach out to me at francis@francischow.com or visit my Facebook page at CREIFC. Thank you very much for joining me in today's episode. See you again next time. Have a wonderful day.